Good evening, everyone. Well, I am anyway. Good evening. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Chatterbox. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. Absolutely really appreciate it. Before I start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video, all that sweet stuff. That'd be absolutely fantastic, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for Chatterbox today, of course, guys. Really appreciate it. Now, let's get into a little bit of news, shall we? Look, there's a lot of rumours circulating around Manchester United, especially in regards to that midfield position. We're going to be getting into that. Which midfielders should Man United go for? Apparently, Man United are going for two midfielders, as we spoke about a few weeks ago on this channel. Of course, Man United are targeting two midfielders. It does look likely that two players could be leaving Manchester United. Two players could be leaving Manchester United. Could this open the door for midfielders to come in, guys, in January? We're going to have to wait and see, guys. Well, we're going to get into that anyway. But firstly, let's get into a little bit of news. Andy Mitten. Now, Andy Mitten has been around Manchester United for decades. He's been around Manchester United for, goodness me, since the 80s, isn't it? He has the fanzine that he used to sell. It still does outside Old Trafford, of course. And he has been speaking about Elliot Anderson. He said that Elliot Anderson is a possibility. Elliot Anderson is a realistic option for Manchester United, guys. And what will I say about that? We know Elliot Anderson is on Manchester United's radar. It's pretty evident Elliot Anderson is on Manchester United's radar. Andy Mitten, I like Andy Mitten. Andy Mitten obviously has many contacts at Manchester United, especially in regards to ex-players and things like that. He obviously done the fanzine. He's a bit of a cult hero at Man United, a bit of a legend at Man United. But in regards to transfer rumours and being in the know, so to speak, he's not really top of the tree. He's not a tier one, for example. So he may hear things around the football club that others won't hear. And he might hear about Elliot Anderson, and he might hear whispers in the shadows, so to speak, about this player. Now, apparently, Elliot Anderson has requested to speak to Manchester United. He wants to move to Manchester United. This is very, very new news. This is very, very undercover in regards to players secrecy, etc. But apparently, Elliot Anderson wants to speak to Manchester United. He wants the opportunity to move to Manchester United, given the opportunity, of course. But we know whether a player wants to leave or not, it is irrelevant, because it all depends on the two clubs, whether Manchester United pay the money for Elliot Anderson. Nottingham Forest could want 80 million. Man United might not be willing to pay 80 million. We've heard 90 million. We've heard 80 million in regards to Elliot Anderson. Manchester United might not want to pay the 80 million for him, but there is room for manoeuvre. Of course, it depends what Nottingham Forest want to do, how Nottingham Forest are in the relegation zone. Do I think Nottingham Forest will get relegated? I don't really think Nottingham Forest will get relegated this season. I think they've got enough quality to get out of there. With Sean Dyche as well, I think Sean Dyche is a bit of an expert at getting teams out of trouble, isn't it? So what I would say in regards to this is that, look, take it with a pinch of salt. I personally don't think Man United are going to make any major moves in January. However, it's not in the realms of impossibility. I think there's more chance of it happening if Manchester United do offload a couple of players, of course. In regards to the four players that Man United have sort of narrowed down, sort of like a league table of midfielders that Man United are going for: Adam Wharton, Elliot Anderson, Carlos Baleba, and Angelo Stiller. Those four players are on Manchester United, heavily linked to Manchester United, and have been linked to Manchester United for a very, very long time, of course. Angelo Stiller is one of those players that could come in January, because he's got no attachments. Well, he's got Stuttgart, but he's got no attachments to European football. Stuttgart don't really, look, they're not really challenging for anything, if we're being honest. And Angelo Stiller could be a big option and a realistic option in January, because obviously when you're looking at Nottingham Forest, you look at Elliot Anderson, you're looking at Nottingham Forest, they need to survive. They need to do well in Europe. They're in Europe, guys. They're just beating Porto, so they need to think about their own interests. In regards to Stuttgart, that's a different situation. Now, in an ideal world, I would love Elliot Anderson and Angelo Stiller at the football club. Those two midfielders, I think, complement each other very, very well, alongside Adam Wharton. I know we're not going to sign 3, but I do believe Man United will bring in 2. Kobe Mainoo and Zirkzee, Joshua Zirkzee, are being linked with moves to Italy. Kobe Mainoo's being linked to a move to Napoli on loan, guys, and Zirkzee's been linked to a move to Roma or Juventus. Now, if Man United do get a little bit of money for these loans or a permanent sale in regards to Zirkzee going to Italy, then Man United could quite possibly reinvest that money in the likes of Angelo Stiller. But if Man United do not offload any players, and it is real possibility that Man United will not let any players go, because obviously it is the AFCON. The AFCON is going on at the moment. It's going to be happening on the 21st of December until the 21st of January. So if Man United don't offload any players, it is looking unlikely that Man United will bring in any players in January, guys. The only thing I can envision is Man United bringing in a loan deal for Conor Gallagher, someone like that, and a Ruben Neves, someone of that ilk, someone on loan, guys, absolutely. But there's so many different twists and turns that can happen at Manchester United. 4 players that you are going to be hearing a lot about, and they are Adam Wharton, Elliot Anderson, Carlos Baleba, and Angelo Stiller. Those 4 players have been on Man United's radar for a while, as we've been speaking about. Not non-stop. I feel like a broken record when it comes to these players, absolutely. But yes, exciting times. Hopefully Man United can get some business done, even if it is a deal in principle, to get these players in, so that when it comes to the summer, we are ready and fit and ready to get these players in pretty quickly. Of course, guys, absolutely. But look, this is a boost. The Anderson thing is a boost. Anderson rumored to wanting to come to Manchester United is a boost, of course. But as I said in earlier show, of course, a player like Elliot Anderson's going to come to Manchester United. Of course he wanted. If Real Madrid came calling, he's going to want to go to Real Madrid. You know, these are not Man United fans, but they're going to want to improve their career. They want to have more aspirations of improving their prospects for England and everything on top of that, of course, guys. Manchester United do have to qualify for the Champions League. This is very important. Man United have to be in touching distance for the Champions League in January. If we're like up and there and thereabouts, I'm talking about near the top 5 or in the top 5, then I think that Manchester United will have a better opportunity in obtaining some of these players that we've been after for quite a while now and we've been interested in for quite a while. We have a better chance of doing that, of course, guys. Absolutely. Guys, I want to thank everyone for joining me today. Let me just read through some of your comments. Hope you're all doing blessed. Big up, everyone. Big up, Ephraim. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good afternoon, Sal. Do you think Stiller and Bruno midfield will work? I don't know. To be honest with you, football doesn't deal with absolutes, isn't it? So I could say that it won't work. It's too attacking. Stiller is naturally a number 6, but he also could play as a number 8. I see him more of as a progressive sort of modern day midfielder that can bring the ball forward, can tackle, can bring the ball forward. Will it work with that, Bruno? I don't know who will work with Bruno. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't know who will work with Bruno, because Bruno is ill-disciplined in his position. He's getting a little bit better, but he is ill-disciplined in position. And I personally don't think that Bruno is a number 8, in my opinion. So any midfielder that is going to come in naturally would struggle if a player goes missing and is ill-disciplined in his position. And it ends up leaving the other midfielder 3 against 1, 2 against 1, of course. So obviously that is up in the air. But I would like to see Man United rebuild this midfield. I would like to see us bring in the likes of Stiller, the likes of Elliot Anderson, and play those 2 midfielders and do a new future. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes' future is up in the air. He has just signed a contract, but it is a little bit up in the air at the moment in regards to Bruno Fernandes. So we have to wait and see. Big up, Asherman. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're blessed. Good to see Asherman in House United Road. Big up, my friend. And big up, Fozzie. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well, brother. Hope you're good. Good to see you, my guy. Good to see you. Of course, Liverpool fan in the house, but a good one. He's one of the good ones. Big up, Fozzie. Hope you're doing well. Peace and blessings, RJ. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, RJ. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to get into that one in a minute. Elliot Anderson is the midfielder who would be positioned to join Manchester United at the moment via Tyler Bracer. It came from what's his name? Andy Mitten. Andy Mitten was the guy who spoke about it initially, and we know that, Dave. There is no question. We've been speaking about it this morning. You think I put these players on my thumbnail for no reason? I already know that. I've already said that Anderson is interested in going to Man United. I've said it a while now. How long have I said it? Of course he is. Just like he would be interested in going to Real Madrid. You know, they're quoting the obvious that we have been talking about for a long time. And then, you know what I mean? Then everyone's like, wow, you know, Andy Mitten isn't really good with transfers. I would say that, however. And but he has contacts at the football club. That doesn't mean that he's good with transfers and everything like that. Of course, big midfielder, big up my friend. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. I hope we get an English midfielder. I hope we get a talented midfielder. That's one thing I would say. Anderson should force a move in January. I don't know if he'll do that, to be honest with you. Guys, if reports are true, Anderson should tell Forest that he wants to move so that it can at least force their hand to sell also at a astronomical price. Look, I don't think Anderson will do that. You know, I don't think Anderson will put in transfer requests and all that. Obviously, what Nottingham Forest have done for him is quite big, you know, and Nottingham Forest are in Europe. And I don't think Man United, unless we offload some players, are going to be signing in them anyway. We have to agree a fee with Nottingham Forest. If we don't agree a fee with Nottingham Forest, we know what's going to happen. Exactly what happened with Carlos Baleba. We're not going to get the player. And at the moment, I don't think Man United are prepared to spend 70, 80, even 90 million on Elliot Anderson at the moment, especially in January, even though it is a godsend. If Man United, as I said, if Man United do sell like a Zirkzee or a Mainoo, then it will be more possibility, be more realistic that Man United can do a deal. I personally don't think it will happen in January. I do think it is a huge possibility that this will happen in the summer, definitely. Looking at Man United at the moment, will Man United take the risk? Will they sell Zirkzee? Will they loan out Mainoo to Napoli? Will they do that? I don't know whether they will, because obviously the AFCON is here and it is a little bit risky. We have to have players fit and ready and prepared, you know, so we'll have to wait and see. Why is Bayern versus PSG on the same day as Paul versus Champions League, mate? That's why. I think Seko Kone is going to be amazing, Sal. We'll have to wait and see, mate. He's still a little bit lightweight for me. It looks a little bit lightweight. It doesn't look strong at all. Still, Anderson will be a midfield, a good midfield. Yeah, magnificent midfield, Stephen. Absolutely. It'll be a game-changing midfield. I actually think that will be a title-challenging midfield, in my opinion. I really do think that. I know that it's a long shot. It is a long shot if we can manage to get those two signings in, but it's not in the realms of impossibility. What Man United need, I would be happy if Man United signed Stiller and Anderson or Stiller and Wharton and left, and that was it. That was the transfer window, because I know that those two midfielders, whatever two it is, would be a complete game changer. It would change the dynamic of Manchester United. Absolutely. Absolutely. Big up, Helge. How you doing, my friend? How you doing? I hope you're good. So good to see you again, mate. Good to see you too, my bro. Hope you're good. Looking really fresh with that haircut, I must say. Thank you. Big up, my bro. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, Helge, back in the house. Hope you're doing well. I was going to message you, but I thought, what's going on with Helge these days? Hope you're doing well, Helginho. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you as well again, of course. So I feel we are going to have the best midfield in the Premier League. We'll have to wait and see. I'm going to keep my feet firmly on the ground. I'm going to keep my feet firm on the ground. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, everything depends on what happens this season, of course. Helge, let's ship Bruno and Casemiro to Saudi and get Stiller and Anderson. Absolute dream midfielder, my man. Absolutely, Helge. It would be an absolute game-changing midfield, in my opinion. I think that Casemiro will be leaving. I've got a feeling that Casemiro is going to be leaving. Obviously, Casemiro's wages is astronomical. He's got this 370 grand that he gets paid every single week. My goodness me, amazing amount of money. It's good if you got it. And obviously, Bruno, the only thing is with Bruno, I can see, guys, I know I'm conflicted to this, right? I think that Bruno needs to be moved on eventually. I know he's been a great servant for Man United, but the sentiments that, you know, should be put to the back of the queue when it comes to Manchester United. I can actually see Bruno retiring at Man United as much as I could see Bruno leaving Man United. You know what I mean? And I just don't think that we can get rid of him. If Saudi come in with another 100 million offer, I mean, then, yeah, I think that, you know, maybe we'll have to accept it. But it's up to, obviously, Bruno at the end of the day, isn't it? It is, isn't it? And but there's a number of issues at Man United. And obviously, Luke Shaw, Diego Dalot, Harry Maguire. These players, as much as some of those players that I've just mentioned are like fan favourites, how long have they been at the football club? We need to start thinking about moving forward and, you know, not taking 3 steps back. We need to start moving forward now, do you know what I mean? And trying to get these players out the door and get the new players in the door, and let's start a new era. Let's turn the page. That's what we need to do. Absolutely, Helge. Big up, Helge. Good to see you again, my friend. Good to see you. Big up, UK Darren. What's going on, my friend? Hope we do well, Darren. Good to see you. Anderson was a pain in the side for us last Sunday. We need him. He absolutely, Darren. He was the difference between Nottingham Forest drawing a game and Man United winning the game. He was the difference. He was the guy. He was the engine. He dominated our midfield, and I thought that was a little bit embarrassing considering we're Man United. They're not in a Forest, but no surprise there. And that is what you do. That is what you do. If you want to sign for Man United, you don't let the rumours rattle you. You don't let the rumours rattle you. And the rumours about Nottingham Forest, Man United, and Anderson are fresh as well. Yeah, Anderson played against Man United and probably man of the match. Do you know what I mean? That is what you do. And it is a little bit of advice for people like Carlos Baleba, players like Carlos Baleba, that, you have to play. You have to carry on playing, because if you don't, you're only as good as your last game, and then the interest will waver, and then no one will end up signing you for the money that is being quoted, of course. But Anderson will be an absolute game-changing signing for me. Absolutely brilliant player. Jumped leaps and bounds. I mean, you have to give credit to Thomas Tuchel, of England manager, of course, because I was questioning the inclusion, and obviously he left out the stars of the England squad, but he's found Anderson. And if you're looking at England now, and you're looking at England's midfield, you're looking at Adam Wharton, and you're looking at Declan Rice, you're looking at Bellingham, you're looking at Elliot Anderson. There's no reason why that England team can't win a World Cup. I mean, you look at that midfield there, that is an absolutely incredible midfield. Wonder they're sweeping everyone beside them. Do you know what I mean? Hey, good morning, good afternoon, Sam. How you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Good day, Sal. United should not hold back when it comes to midfielders signings. We need to at least 2 or 3 midfielders. Amram's system can only work with good midfielders and good wingbacks. I agree, Sam. The wingback system is obviously a big problem for Man United. I mean, I would say that the wingbacks are just as important as the midfield, because those are the 2 parts of Ruben Amram's game that are the difference. He does base his game around the wingbacks, guys. And with 2 strong midfielders and 2 wingbacks that can actually be effective in creating, scoring, running, holding up the ball, bringing up the ball forward, defending, I think that this system, Ruben Amram, will have a great chance of being successful at Manchester United. Now, if Ruben Amram does manage to qualify for the Champions League, I think it'd be an astronomical achievement from where we were. And this is the levels that we have to aim for. We're not saying that Man United must aim for the league. We have that in our head, that eventually we do want to win the league. But we also have to think about, yes, let's get Man United into the Champions League, and then we can build from there, can't we? We can attract more players and stuff, and especially in the areas that Ruben Amram needs. And obviously, when you're thinking about Ruben Amram's system, you're thinking about the midfield and you're thinking about the wing-backs. We have signed no wing-backs. We have signed no midfielders for Ruben Amram. This is why I gave it a 4 out of 10 window, because we didn't get the players in. Now we're vying for Stiller. We're vying for Elliot Anderson, etc. We all knew this would happen, isn't it? It would have been great if we had him at the beginning of the season, but it's just the way it is at the moment. Dave, wait, what was the word for word what Andy Mitten said? Why is that Tyler Branson fellow being credited with this? I don't know, mate, but I heard it was Andy Mitten. I know Andy Mitten. Andy Mitten is incredibly connected to the football club. Andy, if you know Manchester United, you know who Andy Mitten is. I'm not too familiar with that guy you're talking about, Blandstan. But regardless, anyway, Dave, what was said was pretty obvious. It's something that we've been talking about for the last few weeks now, that Elliot Anderson will be interested in the move to Man United. He's high on Man United's radar. This is not lies. And there are 4 players Man United are looking at, which is Elliot Anderson, of course, Adam Wharton and Angelo Stiller, and lurking in the background is Carlos Baleba. Carlos Baleba is in the bottom of the top 4 positions in regards to that. Absolutely. Anderson has good vision. Anderson, look, I was talking about this yesterday on Judge Mo's show about Anderson. I think he's got the potential to be a world-class midfielder. He's going to be the next one through, in my opinion. I looked at him, and you can tell a great player when they play against big teams. When he played against Man United on Saturday, I thought, wow, this player's good. There's a superstar there in the making. Do you know what I mean? And you have to give credit where credit is due. I think the same about Adam Wharton. I'm sure that when it comes to us playing Crystal Palace in a few weeks, Adam Wharton is going to be up there performing as well, guys, because that's what great players do. This is exactly what I'm trying to emphasize. Elliot Anderson's young, Adam Wharton is young, yet they still perform. They don't let pressures get to them. They don't let anyone turn their head. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. Big up, RJ. Sam, United need spend big to be on the top. Absolutely, we do. At the end of the day, you have to spend what you get, but we have to spend wisely, Sam. As you said there, Look, at the end of the day, as I said, I would much rather get an Elliot Anderson and an Angelo Stiller, or Adam Wharton and an Angelo Stiller, spend the money on them, fix that midfield, and now I'll be happy with that. I know we need wing backs, but I would be happy with that because I think that would completely change the dimension of Manchester United. It would completely change the dimension of the way we play as well. I would say that would cost about 200 million, almost, probably about 180, 170 altogether. It would probably cost for those two players. Now, we spent over 200 million this summer. If we got, imagine we got Stiller and we got Elliot Anderson, you can already know that is going to be a very, very good midfield. Well, I'm not saying that we have to sell Bruno. I'm not saying that. Bruno could be a rotational player. He doesn't have to play every single game. I don't believe he should be playing every single game. Bruno could be a rotational player, and obviously we can put in Anderson and Stiller and rotate it a little bit and have some squad depth at the end of the day, guys. Absolutely. Did Brantford play yesterday? I'm not too sure about that. I'll have to wait and see. Yes, now, guys, let me get into a little bit of other news. You may have heard a year ago we were talking about Jareth Branthwaite coming to Man United. Of course, it didn't quite materialize. The valuation of Everton was about 60, 70 million euros, guys, or pounds, wasn't it? Which is astronomical amount of money for Jareth Branthwaite. And anyway, we were extremely happy because instead of getting Jareth Branthwaite, we ended up getting Leny Yoro. Now, Man United are looking to bring in a player who can play on that left-sided centre-back position. And they feel that Jareth Branthwaite would be a perfect addition in that position. We all know that Jim Ratcliffe is a huge admirer of Jareth Branthwaite. I think Jareth Branthwaite is a very good player. Gone a little bit off the boil recently, but I still think he's a very good player. But obviously, the price tag is an issue. That is a problem. I don't think it's going to be 60, 70 million now. I think more in the lines of 40, 50 million that Man United are looking to spend on Jareth Branthwaite. However, obviously, a team like Everton, they're going to dig their heels in. They're going to try and their best to hold on to Jareth Branthwaite as much as they can, isn't it? And, he's a big player. He's an Everton guy, isn't it, at the end of the day? And look, I don't think that we should be fighting tooth and nail for left-sided centre-back. That's just my opinion. I think that Man United are good with Leny Yoro, with De Ligt, with Mazraoui, with Aiden Heaven, and obviously with Maguire and Kulungi and Fredrickson in the reserves as well. I think Man United are pretty good in defence. I think the most important thing that Man United need to look at the moment is the wing backs. The wing backs, the midfield. Fix that. I think we're going to be good, guys, because you're looking at that attack with Cunha and Bremo and Sesko, and obviously whoever in between, Ahmad as well. You're looking at a very good attacking team, but also solid at the same time. If we can get those wing backs sorted out and the midfield sorted out, I don't think that we should be prioritizing a defender, even though we're being linked with Jareth Branthwaite again. And it seems like Jareth Branthwaite hasn't gone away. It seems like Jareth Branthwaite, we've been talking about Jareth Branthwaite for over a year now. So there is obviously some substance in regards to Jareth Branthwaite. There is obviously some truth in regards to this transfer, but we're going to have to play that bit and wait and see, because I don't think we should be signing a defender at the end of the day. Helge, I think the biggest say is that even with people who have loved Bruno the most, for example, me, I've never seen even one person say should play in midfield. It's insane. Man United ahead of Bruno. I think so. I think that we need to move on from it, and we thank him and we move him on, and that's it. At the end of the day, I think that he hasn't been fantastic this season. He hasn't been brilliant. He had a great shot against Nottingham Forest. That's about it. That's all I can remember him doing. Still comes out with the odd great cross. Look, let's not forget, right? That cross against Liverpool was absolutely world-class cross. And he can come out with moments of genius like that. That is what Bruno Fernandes does. A bit like that little dummy that he did for Bremo against, who was it against? Was it against Brighton, wasn't it? That dummy he did, do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, was an absolutely world-class dummy. And what I would say is this, right? He's capable of world-class moments, but I think Man United need to think forward. We do. Not necessarily, we don't have to sell him, but does he have to start every single game? Is it always, is it like religious that he has to start every single game? Do you know what I mean? Did the Pope tell him that he has to start every single game? I don't know, guys. Dave, isn't it a breath of fresh air? They're being linked with good profiles that fans want, and also what the club needs to be competing. Look, you know what? When you're looking at players like Elliot Anderson, you're looking at Adam Wharton, you're looking at Angelo Stiller, you're looking at these players. You're not looking at them and thinking, "Wow, what a high profile signing! What a world class player!" You're looking at those players, and you're thinking more like on the lines of, "Yeah, they're going to fit the team. They're going to be strong for the team. They're going to work for the team. And I think that's more important, because we do get caught up in the fashionable signing, so to speak. Do you know what I mean, Dave? Like we have done. We're guilty. I'm guilty of it. We get caught up in this fashionable signing, these superstars that we're after. But I think that even Elliot Anderson, and look, guys, I spoke on Judge Mo's show yesterday, and everyone was talking about all the players in Europe. And everyone said about all the players in Europe that are playing midfield. I mentioned Elliot Anderson because look, if Elliot Anderson was playing for a Real Madrid, a PSG, you know how good Elliot Anderson would be. And this is what we're saying, just because he's not fashionable. And I think we need to get out of that mode where we think it's not a fashionable sign or the name on the back of the shirt sort of thing, isn't it? We're looking at that name on the back of the shirt, like, for example, like exactly what I was saying about Conor Gallagher. I was saying, people don't want Conor Gallagher because he's an unfashionable signing. You're not going to have Gallagher on the back of your shirt. You know what I mean? And I think we need to move away from that. I think what's best for Manchester United. Like I said, I've learnt my lesson humbly, Dave, over the years when Alex Ferguson used to sign players. When we signed Michael Carrick, I was like, Carrick, of all players, Carrick, why? We could have got this player. We could have got Zidane. We could have got Seedorf. We could have got Davids. We could have got this. We could have got that. And he ended up being a legend at Man United, as we know. So we got to sign players that fit the balance of the team and work as a team. Like I would always bring in England, for example, when England tried to squeeze in Steven Gerrard, Paul Scholes, and Frank Lampard into the same team. It was never going to work. It was never going to work because they're very similar players. England would have won something if they just had Michael Carrick in there and had either Gerrard and Scholes or Gerrard and Lampard or Lampard on Scholes. That's what it would. It should be Gerrard and Scholes. But I would say that all they needed was that guy in there, that Michael Carrick. That's all they needed. This is exactly why Sir Alex Ferguson signed Michael Carrick, because he knew about balance. He was a genius. He knew about it. And this is what we're talking about. When you've been a Man United fan a long time, you learn these things. You learn that it's not all about that. Why were Man United so successful? Yet all the other teams around were buying all these players for many, many years, by the way. Liverpool outspent us. Newcastle outspent us in the 90s. Why were Man United so successful? Consistency and balance. And everyone knew their jobs. Everyone knew where to play. Everyone knew when to drop. Everyone knew when to press. We were just an absolute brilliant team, of course. And we need to get back to that. Helge, I'd much rather play Cunha and Mbeumo at 10, and if Bruno is played in 10, it's no future having him as centre midfielder. Not even Bruno's biggest supporter would say that. I hope we get a proper midfield. I do hope we get a proper midfield. I'm a little bit sad about Mainoo, of course, but obviously there's more than meets the eye with that. I've spoken about that this week. There's more than meets the eye in regards to the Kobe Mainoo thing. Some people are even bringing in Onana, saying that Onana didn't get on with Ruben Amorim. That's why Onana's performing. I mean, I haven't heard nothing about Onana, in regards to his performances. And people are like saying that, he didn't perform for Man United because he didn't like Ruben Amorim. Then he's not right for Man United then, is it? Because if you don't perform because you don't like the manager, then you're not right for Man United. You play for your fans, you play for your badge, you play for the history. That's what you play for. And I feel like there's a lot of this nonsense, this revisionism that goes on in our football club that needs to be eradicated from it. Absolutely. In regards to Bruno, yes, look, he's not a number 8. He's definitely not a number 8. I would say that. I mean, I think a million Man United fans will say that he's not a number 8. He doesn't have the awareness to play as a number 8. And as we know, against Nottingham Forest, we were dominated in that midfield area by one player, Elliot Anderson. And this is what we're talking about. You're talking about the difference between a proper midfielder and a makeshift midfielder, a stopgap midfielder. That is what basically Bruno Fernandes is, isn't it, Helge? Big up, Helge. Great comment, my guy. Big up. RJ, there was rumors that Ruben talking to Anderson. Yeah, there was rumors about Ruben Amorim talking to Anderson at full time. It was just a couple of words exchanged. It was nothing. Obviously, everything is going to be blown out proportion because we're looking at when Cunha played against Man United last year. Do you remember when Wolves played Man United and Ruben Amorim put his arm around Cunha and started speaking to Cunha and stuff like that? But we already knew at that point that Cunha was going to come to Man United. I think it was at that point we knew that Cunha was going to come to Man United. There was all those hints and everything like that, wasn't there? Anderson the same. Look, I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but Anderson does look like a guy who's going to come to Man United. And I feel the same about Angelo Stiller as well. I feel like those two players are two players that will come to Man United eventually. And I think that is very, very exciting going forward. Absolutely. I think Ruben spoke that. Yeah, I think I read that one. Big up RJ. Big up. Helge, my priority sales would be Dalot, Shaw, Casemiro, Bruno, Mount, and Maguire. If we sell them and replace them with 3-4-5, 3-4 or 5. Sorry, I was thinking about the formations. I got the formation. I get 5 up front with 4 in the midfield. That would be brilliant. Absolutely. Very good players. We are suddenly the challengers, in my opinion. And we're not far away, Helge. We're absolutely not far away. Football, can change in an instant with a couple of signings. Of course it can. Do you know what I mean? And I absolutely agree with the players that you said we need to go. And I agree. Dalot, Shaw, Casemiro, Bruno, Mount, and Maguire need to go. I agree with that. 100%. I agree with that because these players have been there for a while. In fact, if I was Ruben Amorim, the first thing I would have done, I would have got a list of players with their contracts and I would have looked at the players, how long they've been at the football club. And those players who've been the longest, I will get rid of them one by one because obviously nothing good is going to come out of those players because all they have is experience of losing football matches, isn't it? You know what I mean? And I would have got rid of them anyway. Obviously, Dalot is proven that he's not good enough. Right wing back, left wing back, just not good enough. Luke Shaw is, obviously, I know what Luke Shaw is trying to do. Luke Shaw is trying to get in the England World Cup squad. It's quite obvious, isn't it? Look at him. Every single game, he's ready. I don't like it. It's not I don't like the guy. I just think that he's a manipulator and he only cares about England, in my opinion. Casemiro, wages, slowing down, great player, great pro, but we need to move him on. Mason Mount is always injured. As we said, Mason Mount is always injured, and we can't keep carrying players that never play, who only played 30% of the season, which we don't need. Absolutely, Helge. Great comment, my friend. Great comment, bro. Great comment. Maybe a random shout, but as you know, I've been watching Serie A for years. Di Marco Inter is a serious tailored for. I've been speaking about him for a long time. Held, yeah, Di Marco, ex-Napoli player. People know Stretford Post. Been speaking about him for over a year, and he's on Man United's radar. But I would love Di Marco because of his experience and his aggression in the play. His press. He can create. He's an absolute animal, captain material, the type of mentality that we need, Held, you know. I've been speaking about him for a long time, mate. You're not in a minority. Lots of people rate him very, very highly. If you speak to Inter Milan fans, if you say we want to sign Di Marco, they'll go absolutely mad. They'll say, no, you're not having Di Marco. He's our player, blah, 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 because of his abilities and stuff like that. Big up, George. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Hope you're well, mate. Very well. Good to see you, mate. We need more quality on the bench. A team needs 16, 17 high-profile players to be competitive. The last several games showed us that we don't have much. Yeah, I agree with that, George. Georges. I agree, Georges. Absolutely. Good to see you, Georges. Hope you're doing well. By the way, yeah, I agree. The levels dropped. The levels dropped. I think it's a number of things, right? You bring on the players, it could be quality. One thing, it could be quality. Another thing, it could be lack of match practice. And you're bringing on players that haven't played in 5-10 games. And it's going to take them a while to get up to speed. This is why you have to be clever when you're rotating your squad. You have to be clever when you're rotating because, you know, some of these players you can't just throw a player onto the pitch and expect him to be 100% and match fit. It's not only about fitness, it's about match fit as well. And that is one big thing that we have. We're not rotating enough, in my opinion. But you're also correct. Two things could be right. I think it is that, and I think it is, obviously, we ain't got the quality. And I do think that we need to bring in more quality. I'm very excited by the youth system, the youth players that are coming through. As I spoke about this morning, Georges, I think that, you know, we got a number of great young players coming through. So I would like to see them given a little bit of opportunity. When the FA Cup comes around, I would like to see them given some opportunities because it can help you in times of adversity. Like the AFCON is coming. Obviously, Man United are going to struggle on that right-hand side. But we can, if we give some chances to some of the youth players and young players, Mantato, for example, Shia Lacey, JJ Gabriel, I think that, you know what, they'll be fit and ready to come in whenever we're in problem. But you're absolutely right. Against Brighton, we saw it when the players came on, including Mainoo, the performance dropped in it. The performance declined a little bit. And it happened again against Nottingham Forest. I think Nottingham Forest actually went the other way. I think we actually played better because obviously we brought on Dorgu as a left wing back, and look, he can play there better than what Dalot is. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, and we got better. And I feel that if Dorgu started the game, we probably would have won the game, to be honest with you. But yeah, I agree with you. Depth and quality, that's what we need. Absolutely. Dave, Faxal, midfielder Stiller and Anderson would improve even the players around them because they bring composure, which we're most lacking. Yeah, know-how, isn't it, Dave? It's a know-how, brother. It's a know-how. It's playing there for years. Playing in midfield is not an easy thing. As we know with Paul Scholes, he was born to play in midfield. I know that Paul Scholes started off as a attacker and a striker, but he had this blinkers. He knew 3 passes ahead, and this is something that I think you need, especially in that number 8 position. You need to be ahead of the game, and players like Iniesta, Xavi, these players, Paul Scholes, they always were ahead of the game. They always knew 3, 4, 5 passes ahead. They knew who was where and what. And it's a natural gift. Zidane did the same, of course. The great players of the past, Seedorf, Davids, these were great players of the past that knew every Pirlo, another one, and they had this sixth sense, so to speak. And I don't think that Bruno has that in the midfield position. I think he's a natural attacker. Even there, he's a little bit ill-disciplined sometimes, but I feel like having Stiller, having Anderson would absolutely... It would take time to get the rhythm, but, that those two in midfield, you can only say, well, that is a proper midfield. That is a midfield. Do you know what I mean? And I think it will work. Whether it is Anderson and Wharton and Stella or Anderson and Stella, both of them, you know what I mean? It would be great. Adam Wharton and Anderson would be good too, to be honest with you. Big up, Dave. Great comment, my friend. RJ, big up. I think we should go for Robertson or Semenyo. A left wing back's out. I'm not sure about that, mate. I don't think Semenyo can play left wing back, in my opinion. Semenyo would be brilliant as an attacking outlet, definitely for the squad. But I don't think Man United will spend 60, 70 million, if not more, on Semenyo because obviously we got Cunha. And Semenyo is a Cunha-type player. Semenyo is not going to be going the other way. He's a number 10 or a winger. He's not a defensive-minded player. We have to remember that. I know about Ruben Amorim's system, but what we need, as my guy said earlier, as Helge said earlier, we need more of a DeMarco. We need someone like that who can do both. You know what I mean? Who can trap back, go forward, trap back, go forward. It's exactly what I was saying about Ahmad. And people can say Ahmad's goal was fantastic, and it absolutely was, right? He didn't have a good game, though, overall, but he had a great goal, right? But what we would say is that the defensive side of Ahmad is suspect. On the front post, he's going to miss the guy every single time. He's about 5'5". He's going to be going up against 6 foot. So you have to balance it. You have to balance it, and you have to think about the defense. Anthony Robertson, however, would be a defender, a stroke attacker that would be good for Manchester United. However, he's worth 35 million euros. And he's 28 years old. So will Man United do that deal? I don't know. You know what I mean? We have to wait and see. Hello, Ellen. What's going on, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Hope you're blessed, of course. Absolutely. Obviously, I haven't watched still as close as Wharton, but with an inch, I'd prefer Wharton just because I love his ball handling. I think he's so silky smooth. We'll love him and Anderson. Him and Anderson's 2 defensive held. It will be 2 number 6s. Stiller is both. He could play 8 and number 6. Stiller is very, very good, mate. That's why Real Madrid want him. Feel like Wilcox and Vavell know who to get for left wing back. Look, Man United needs someone who can do both. The attacking side and the defensive side. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Absolutely. Big up, Benny. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well, Bobby. What's going on? Hope you're doing well, Bobby. Good to see you. Hello, Sal. Big up yourself. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, my friend, back in the stream. The legend back in the stream. Absolutely good to see you. Helge, it's the psychological experience of getting used to disappointment and losing Short, Maguire, Dalot, etc. Damaged goods. They're used to getting slapped up week in and week out for years. For years, it's obviously going to have an effect on them mentally, isn't it? If they're being slapped up every single year, isn't it, my friend? Absolutely. Sam, if United must sign Stiller and Anderson, they should start the groundwork now to make it easy to say. Yeah. Look, it's something I spoke about earlier, Sam. Man United could obviously get a deal done in principle. They can get a verbal agreement, which will make it a lot easier in the summer. However, we need something done on paper because you know what? You know what happens in football? People agree things verbally, and then when it comes to the summer, what verbal agreement? What verbal agreement? Do you know what I mean? So Man United need to get something done in a solid way in regards to these players, because Stiller's going to be wanted by loads of teams. Of course he is. For his price, he's not that expensive. Elliot Anderson, of course, is going to be wanted by the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, all these teams are going to want Elliot Anderson in their football team. Of course they are. You know what I mean? Bobby, we should go for 2 or 3 Premier League proven players, in my opinion. Yeah, I think Elliot Anderson would be one. Definitely. And I think a wing back maybe. Left wing back and 2 centre midfielders. Big up, Bobby. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Good to see you again. Of course, I don't know. It's Bobby, isn't it? Because you're talk of the devil, isn't it? It's talk of the devils. I'm reading your handle, isn't it? So I'm very confused with these handles. You know what I mean? I wish your names would come up again. Guys, absolutely. It's good to see you. But I think you're Bobby anyway. But big up, my friend, you legend. So I think Favel may get us Ayub Bayodi from Lille for a future midfield. What's your thoughts? Great player, Dan. Great player. Generational, future French international, fantastic player, my friend. Absolutely brilliant. Spoke about him loads of times. Very, very good player. I wouldn't mind something like that. It'd be absolutely brilliant. Obviously, Man United are going to explore the market. We're talking about the top four: Adam Wharton, Elliot Anderson, Carlos Baleba, and Angelo Stiller. There is obviously many, many players as well that Man United are interested in. Obviously, Luciano Gume, Lamine Kamara, Yavi Guerra, Yuri Giza, and obviously players like Ayub Bayodi as well. He's another one as well, that Man United are interested in. Kone of Roma is also another player that Man United could be interested in, but we'd have to wait and see what happens in regards to that. Of course, the great thing about it is that Man United have contingency plans. They have a plan. And if we don't get that player, we're going to get that player. If we don't get that player, we're going to get that player. And I think the good thing about this is that every single player that we have mentioned today, and we've been mentioning for weeks and months, they're all quality players. That's the good thing about it. So whatever it is, whatever two we get, it's going to be quality. You know what I mean? It's going to be quality. Absolutely. The thing people don't get, Sal, what you are saying about saying that Ahmed is too poor defensively to be a good wingback. Fullbacks are too poor offensively. Ahmed's wingbacks needs to be as good as both. Yeah, look, this is what we're talking, isn't it? Held, I'll give you an example. I'll give you a perfect example. Gary Neville was a wing back. He can go forward, cross, defend. Carfu was a wing back. Can go forward, cross, defend. Right? Can do both things effectively. Now, if I was to liken one player to Carfu, for example, it would be Van der Sar of Monaco. And this is the player that I was saying all summer, we need to be getting Van der Sar. We need to find out, we need to get him. We need to get him in the team because of that. Now, Ahmad is a good player, a very good player. Yeah. But what I would say is that I don't think Ahmad has the ability to do the wing-back position in the highest level. If you want Man United to qualify for Champions League, challenge for Champions League, challenge for league titles, I think Ahmad's place is in the attack. And look, it doesn't mean he has to start every single game. We had Solskjaer, Cole, York, at one point, and Sheringham at one point. All of them didn't start. Sometimes it is okay to have players on the bench. And this is what we're talking about. It's okay to have Ahmad on the bench sometimes. It is okay to have Bruno on the bench sometimes. This is the thing. We think it's the gospel that they must play because they are this, they are that. I look at things from a point of view that, is it good for the system? Is he good defensively? Yes, we know he's got that ability to cut in and shoot. Is he good at creating? Is he good at that? And people get annoyed when you say this because people either toxic positivity, they just want to blow smoke up everyone's backside every time it's their favorite player. But I actually think that sometimes you need to look at the team, what defensively as well as going forward. And the reason that, look, I said it the other day, there's 3 styles of play, right? You can go around the team, through a team, and over the top, right? So when you've got Ahmad going forward, you just need to get it over the top because, you can get it over Ahmad and just attack that side because that side is going to be completely null and void. Now, Ahmad works extremely hard in that team and he's nowhere near the problem at Man United. Absolutely not. It's the other side. It's Dalot. But what I would say is that if Man United want to challenge for league titles, want to challenge for Champions Leagues, we're going to have to think a bit more offensively as defensively as well as offensively, in my opinion. Absolutely. Dave, United will have to talk West Ham and see what valuation they would be willing to have him for Tyler Branston. So is this story bullshit? Is this story true? I don't know what the BS means. Sorry, I think it means bullshit. But anyway, look. At the end of the day, I don't know who Tyler Branston is. All I know is about Andy Mitten. That is it. I know about Andy Mitten. I don't know about Branston. Never heard of him, to be honest with you. And that is something, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. Look, lots of people think they've got the inside knowledge at the end of the day, what I would say. And we have to wait. We're talking to West Ham. Who about? Lucas Paqueta. Is it Lucas Paqueta you're talking about? Guys, in regards to the player, West Ham. Helge, My hope and my journey, my hope is by January and summer we'll get a new midfield four, new wing backs on both sides, and new midfield pivot. 100%, we will be title challenge. Mate, you know what? Look, Helge, we're not even that far away. I know we're not quite ready for the league title race. I know we're not quite ready, but I think we're top 5 material right now. I really do think that, and absolutely, Helge. And if Man United get the players that they need, there's no stopping us. There's no reason. This is what I was saying at the weekend, Held. You know, I had this debate with someone. Someone came on this channel and they said they'd be happy with 10th. I'm like, where is your ambition, mate? Where's your ambition? No, but it's unrealistic. You're lying to the fans to say that we can come higher. I'm like, what are you talking about, mate? This is Manchester United, and you're going, oh, yeah, let's come 10th. Do not gaslight people into thinking that it's okay to come lower, because we're better than that. People want to talk about the 15th place last year. Let's talk about the 15th place last year. The reason we came 15th is because we down-tooled. It's because we had the Europa League and we were thinking about the Europa League. Now, that goes to show you what a weak mentality some of these players have, the old guard especially, right? That when you give them an inch, when they don't have to win because they've already got a rope to fall on in regards to the Europa League, we all know what happened, right? They will down-tool. Give the word, they will down-tool 100%. And when I'm talking to people, it's like they just talk to answer. They don't talk about facts and things like that. Sir Alex Ferguson said it, as I said many times. I said it over the last last week or so. That Sir Alex Ferguson said it many times. Sir Alex Ferguson said, "You know what? Even if you feel like it's impossible, even if it's unrealistic, Man United should always be challenging for the top of the league." You know what I mean? That's Sir Alex Ferguson, and people don't seem to understand that. Do you know what I mean, Helge? But absolutely right. If we sign 4. I would even say 2 midfielders, Man United will be challenging. Don't worry about it. I think we need a wing back, to be honest. I think our wing back's a little bit weak. But yeah, if we sign 2 midfielders, a wing back, a capable one, and maybe a couple of squad players, I think, yeah, I don't see there's any reason, Held, that we can't challenge. Absolutely, bruv. I don't think there's any reason why we can't challenge. Spot on. Sam, Wharton and Anderson are similar. There's no way we can sign the both. It will not work, absolutely. But Stiller and Anderson will work because Stiller can play. It's absolutely, Sam. Exactly what I'm saying. You have to think about things like I would love Wharton and Anderson at the football club, but as we know, you can't just put 2 of those players. Why don't England play 2 of those players? England won't play Wharton and Anderson. They won't. They'll play a Declan Rice maybe because Declan Rice can act as a number 8, and they'll play Elliot Anderson. Do you know what I mean? So this is what they do. They'll play Bellingham and they'll play Anderson or Rice. Do you know what I mean? Things like that. You have to look at things what are good for the balance of the team. I'm not saying that Anderson and Wharton wouldn't be bad. They would probably be good in some games, i.e. if you're playing Liverpool away or something, you want to keep things tight. You know what I mean? You're playing Arsenal away, you want to keep things tight. That's probably one thing that will work in regards to that. It will work. But yeah, look, you know what I would say is that Elliot Anderson and Wharton sounds great. But I think we need a Stiller and we need a Wharton or an Anderson, in my opinion. That is what I think we need. Absolutely. Benny, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. I'd definitely be watching that boy, Freddie Potts, the rest of the season. Looks like a very good centre midfielder, and it's the right pro for 22 needs to be. He's been around for quite a while, though, isn't he, Freddie Potts? Great player. Another player off the conveyor belt I spoke about yesterday, conveyor belt of young West Ham players. West Ham have gone off a boil a little bit when it comes to producing young players for some reason. Benny, before we rush in on a deal, yeah, look, we have to. I hope that Man United are ready. You know what I mean? I feel like Boadi and Euro of midfield, a generational gem. It's like having beef Wellington and good cooked potatoes and red wine. Big ups. He's still ace in my opinion. Still young. My God, yeah. Look, Boadi's very good. Premier League is tough, but I think he's very good. He's got the ability, definitely. DeMarco Stiller, Anson, Vanderson, can you talk to the football gods and make it happen? I wish I could, mate. I wish I could. I would absolutely do that, mate. Absolutely, because you just need to read that, mate. You just need to read that back. DeMarco Stiller, Anderson, Vanderson. That's DeMarco Stiller, Anderson, Vanderson. There you go. It's also, you just need to read that, and you see, like, you can see that on the front pages of magazines and things like that. If they still read magazines these days, it's absolutely brilliant. Dan, it's time for Dorgu to start ahead of Dalot. I agree, especially against Tottenham, because Kudus is gonna be their main threat. I agree, mate. I agree. It depends what Ruben Amorim does, of course. Look, when we're looking at the overriding facts over the last few games, obviously we've had a fantastic time. We won 3 in a row, but what has been the overriding fact here? Dalot has played poor. Let's not know. I know it gets sugar-coated because we won the games, But if we're being real with ourselves, if we're being realistic, we're being honest with ourselves, Dalot has been playing poor, isn't it? Let's be honest. You know what I mean? He hasn't been playing well. And yeah, we do need better quality in those positions. And Dorgu should play against Spurs. I agree. Sam, a good team should have 2 players each every position. We used to have 2 or 3. Absolutely. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Big up, William. What's going on, William? How you doing? Yo, Sal, you heard anything about the takeover of the stadium yet in the end? Sorry, a bit of the topic. Nothing at the moment. Nothing at the moment. But fingers crossed it doesn't happen. And I'll tell you why. Because if it doesn't happen, the Glazers are going to be under extreme pressure to sell up because this is their saving grace. This is their life support machine. This is the regeneration project. They're in line to make billions and billions. So we hope that, fingers crossed, you know what I mean, does happen. And we can get Qatar in or UAE or Dubai in or whatever consortium it is, and we can get rid of the Glazers and start building afresh, man. Absolutely. Sal, why Gary Neville is negative about United? Now he is talking about De Ligt. He's not. I don't know. I mean, you know what I said earlier? I said about opinion is fine. You have an opinion about a player, that's fine. You have an opinion about football or Man United, that's fine. But what you got to do is you got to have an element of a balance here, because I don't see Gary Neville talking about Isaac like that. I don't see Gary Neville talking about Florian Wirtz like that. I don't see Gary Neville talking about Gyökeres like that. So why does he continue to slander his own team he supposedly supports? I don't understand it. I really don't. Because at the end of the day, what he said about Sesko, I think was wrong. Yes, Sesko didn't have the best game against Nottingham Forest, but Sesko has been pretty good this last few games. It's not just about scoring goals. It's about his all-round play. When you think about the Chelsea game, whose fault was it that Chelsea got a red card? It was the flick on from Sesko. You know what I mean? And this is what we're talking about. You know, it's just over the top, continually slandering. I don't know whether it gets clicks. I don't know whether it's because of that. It probably is, you know, because it gets clicks as Man United and the news. They're the main news, isn't it? I don't know why. Dave, Sal, the mentality issue is something that is overlooked today. Yeah, even when mentioned, but people forget the mental monster we've seen at the club that are always ready to fight for the club. Forget the mentality monster we've seen at a club. Look, you know what I would say, Dave? Absolutely spot on. People forget this. People forget how difficult it is to play for Man United at the moment because obviously, historically, we would say historically now, because it is 10 years now, isn't it? Over 10 years that Man United have been poor. And this does have an effect on the players. And it just takes a couple of bad things. Like, I'll give an example, the Nottingham Forest game. The Nottingham Forest game is a perfect example of Man United. A perfect example of Man United. Man United could be going swimmingly. And then when things are going well, it's all right. We're doing all right. We're doing good. But when we can see the goal, we could see the second goal quite easily. I think last season we went down to 10 men in one game. I forgot what game it was, but we went down to 10 men. And literally in seconds, we could see the goal. We didn't get tight. We didn't that. But at the same time, Man United can go to the Emirates with 10 men and play for most of the game with 10 men and beat Arsenal. Man United have it in them. I don't know what it is. They have this mentality block. I think it is coming from the culture of the football club. I think the culture of the football club is flawed at the moment. They have this mentality block that they need to overcome. And I actually think they need to remove the players who've been there for years. I just feel like that. I feel like if Man United are going to progress, Man United need to move forward and Man United need to sell some players and get new players in with a different mentality. Not a losing mentality. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's like losing a race every single time. You're racing one person next to you and you keep losing the race. You're never going to have the confidence to beat that guy, isn't it? You know, I would say. Big up, Dave. Stephen, need leaders on and off the pitch if we want a European football and win titles. Yes, we do need leaders, mate. We need more leaders. DeMarco's one of them. Absolutely. Leacher's one of them. We do need those sort of players, those profile players that, you know what, don't take any rubbish. Absolutely. I agree with that. We need leaders back in this football team. We used to have 11 captains, if not more. You know what I mean? Hey, what's going on, D, my friend? What's going on, Pablo? El Pablo, what's going on, my guy? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Big up you, my good friend, Sal. Good to see you, my guy. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're blessed, my friend. Hope you're having a great week. And yeah, glory, Man United, my guy. Big up yourself. Good to see you again. Good to see you. Big up El Pablo, my friend, of course. William, thanks for that, bro. Glazers out. Absolutely, William. Big up, my friend. Dave, against Spurs, I'm okay with 1-0 or 2-1 win. Yeah, me too, mate. I mean, I would take a win. A win is a win, mate. We haven't won at Spurs in a while. I'll just win. Win the game. Off the backside, off a corner. Anything. Just bloody win the game. That's what I would say, absolutely. Because their current prehistoric fossil football will rub up any team that plays them, even if it's a criminal narrow lead. I'll take it, mate. I said it. Own goal, VAR decision, anything. Just win the game. Go into that international break. 4 out of 5 games. That is championship challenging form. That's Champions League challenging form, isn't it? You know what I mean? Drew against Nottingham Forest. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, even if we draw the game, guys, I'm not saying it's the end of the world, because it's not. Because when we come back from the international break, we got the likes of obviously Wolves. We got obviously Crystal Palace is going to be difficult away from home, where we got Wolves coming up. Obviously at home, we got West Ham coming up. These are games that I feel, and Bournemouth obviously coming up as well. These are games that I feel like Man United can win, especially at Old Trafford. And one thing I have learned, though, is that we got a lot of games away from home. I don't know why. Recently, we've had a lot of games. We play 1 game at home, 2 games away. 1 game at home, 2 games away. It's a little bit unfair. I think we've had the hardest start, pound for pound. 40% of our games, first 10 games were, do you know what I mean, at the end of the day. Couldn't give one shit about Gary Neville, says bloke's a melt. I mean, great player, but his opinions about football a little bit, you know, sometimes they're crazy. Just, I don't know why. I don't know whether he just doesn't want us to be successful, to take away his legacy or something. I don't know what it is. Well, you know what I mean? I think we'll beat Spurs. Absolutely, RJ, so do I. Will you take Paulinho from Spurs? No. I would much rather someone like Pavlovic, Stiller, Anderson, Walton, Yavi Guerra, Lamine Kamara, Zirkzee, Kone from Roma, those sort of players. I want to take Paulinho. Is it Paulinho? Are you talking about, Paulinho? It is the one from Spurs you're talking about, isn't it? The one from Spurs you're talking about, right? I'll take a 3-0 win, Ellen. I know you would. Of course you would. I think United will get Everton at Old Trafford very soon. Yes, after the international break against Spurs. This is why I see that Spurs game. Is like a mini final, because out of all the games we've had, this is the game last season which we came unstuck 4 times, right? And we obviously had one of the most embarrassing defeats in our history, right, against Spurs. It's about time we put it right. It's about time these players showed us, you know, made it up to us in regards to Spurs. Because not in my lifetime when I was growing up, my older brother was a Spurs fan. And would I envision Man United losing 4 times in one season to Spurs? I would envision Man United losing 4 times in 10 years to Spurs, let alone 4 times in one season against Spurs. So, about time we change the narrative, shut them down. They're in a bad way. Lots of argument, lots of toxicity going on in that football club at the moment. We need to make it happen. Absolutely. Need revenge on the Carabao Cup exit and obviously that European final. Absolutely. Big up, everyone. Big up, Rajat. Thank you for joining. Guys, I want to thank everyone for joining me today. I am off. I will see you tomorrow for Breaking Dawn. Don't forget to join me for that, guys. You're absolute legends. I'm also going to be live tomorrow for Chatterboxer as well and all that. So don't forget to put your notifications on. Smash a like, guys. We need to get to 50 likes. Guys, 50 likes. Guys, everyone in the house, 31 now. There should be at least 30 likes. More than that. Please don't forget to smash a like on the video, guys. Absolutely. It is no way we are losing to Spurs. Come on, Ellen. Love the confidence. I agree with Ellen. I co-sign that message. Absolutely, guys. Big up everyone in the stream. Really appreciate you all. I'm Sal Warner. This is Chatterbox, and I'll see you tomorrow for Breaking Dawn. Don't forget to join me. Don't forget to put notifications on. Subscribe if you're lurking in the shadows. Please do that, guys. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day, great evening, great night, wherever you are in the world. Take it easy, Peace. Take it easy, El Pablo. Thank you so much, brother. Much love. Take it easy. Glory, glory, Man United. Let's do this, guys. Tottenham, destination Tottenham, Spursy. Let me just leave you with this, guys. Let me just leave you with this one here. All right. Let me just leave you with this, just to raise the spirits a little bit.
Do you know Tottenham? What? Tottenham Hotspur?
Top Spur?
No.
What's that?
you never heard of them?
No.